Hey, I'm gonna show you some tips on arm balancing. So let's start with Bakasana, which is crow pose. Something that I see often is people sort of collapsing in their arm balances. And this has to do with this sort of back bend posture of anterior tilt of your pelvis and just collapsing through the chest, when really you want to be really nice and strong and you want a posterior tilt. So you really want to pull your ribs in and you want your upper back to be almost sort of rounded. So I'll show you something that I commonly see that I wouldn't suggest. So you would set up for, let's do crow pose. You'd have your arms wide. So a lot of times I see people, they externally rotate their arms, okay? And then then their arms bend this way and they try to use this part like a shelf. And so they'll go like this and then they'll sort of try to put their knee on their arm, just sort of like a shelf, and they'll sort of stick their bum out. They want a really flat back, so they'll arch their back and then they'll come here. Okay, so you might be thinking like, what's wrong with that? That's fine. But I'll show you, it lacks some stability and there's no way that you could do that within a transition of a posture. So now we'll go over something that will give you even more strength and stability in something like crow pose. So first let's talk about the shoulders. So if you're internally rotating, your arms are bending out to the side like this, okay? So I'll show you from here. Internal rotation, your arms are going like this. If you're externally rotating, your arms are gonna bend like this and your chest is gonna drop. So again, external, arms are gonna bend in like this. Okay. So before, as I explained, people are externally rotating and their arms are going like this. What you wanna do is you actually wanna internally rotate and have your elbows go out like this. And then posterior tilt, ribs in. So you want a nice rounded back here. And then you would come into your squat, bend your elbows out, and then you would just hug your knees onto your arms, wherever that might be for you. You would just squeeze and then push into your arms and then keep pushing, round back, tuck the tailbone in, chin up. And this has a lot more stability. From here, I could jump back. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate a different sort of arm balance, Bujapidasana, and the same principles apply. So again, what I often see is people externally rotating and sort of collapsing into their chest when they do this one, especially when they're working on it and they haven't been able to come up yet. So they'll come into it, cross the feet, and then again, they drop through the chest. They start to bring their elbows towards each other and then just drop down. And they lose all strength here. So here, you're kind of stuck. You're trying to push back up. It's not happening, you fall back. So I've seen this a lot. I've also been there. It's part of the process, but something that's really gonna help you is this internal rotation of the arms. So your arms are actually going, your elbows are bending out to the side. You're internally rotating your arms. Your upper back is rounding, you're puffing up. So it looks a little deceiving because it looks like the elbows go back when you see someone in it, but your arms are always doing this action of pushing out against the leg. So come into it, belly in, arms pushing out against the leg. So my elbows are going out to the side, they're not going back. Okay, cross your legs, and then still as I go forward, the arms are pushing out. They're not going back. They're fully pushing against my leg. Now my upper back is round. I can push into my arms, find that strength again. And then from here, keep pushing that internal rotation. You can transition into Bakasana. Jump back. If my arms were externally rotated, I wouldn't have been able to find that transition and find that, but that's strength. All right, that's my tutorial for arm balances. Thanks.